Howdy folks, Kanaju here in 2025 with episode 34 of the Deep Space Travel Break. A lot has happened since our last episode, and I'm not just talking No Man's Sky. We've had some experimental patches to the game, I got to play Assassin's Creed Shadows early, and I got addicted to Pokémon TCG Pocket over Christmas. And yes, that did lead to me getting a couple of those blooming water packs from Costco for my birthday. Don't worry, I wasn't one of those people in those crazy videos, but I'm a sucker for the original 151. So we have all that and a tease for what I'm working on next in this episode 34 of the Deep Space Travel Break, brought to you by Big shout out to them. All right, let's start with some housekeeping. First off, I want to bring attention to a member of the modding community who could use some help. A modder known as Babschool is currently battling stage 4 cancer. I don't personally know Babschool, or Scott rather, but he seems to be loved by the No Man's Sky modding community. That Bomber Boy on Twitter, who I do personally consider to be reliable, shared the GoFundMe page for assisting Scott. Cancer is a terrible fight, so if that's something you might be able to help with, I encourage you to visit the page and learn more. I'll put a link in the description, so thanks for your consideration. In more personal news, I was invited to preview the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows. I mean, can you believe it? Me of all people. And for those who don't know, I have been playing the game since the original, and I'm a pretty big fan of the series. Check out my Assassin's Creed tier list if you want my full impressions of every mainline game. But somehow, I actually got the opportunity to play the upcoming game early. I have played Assassin's Creed Shadows, but I cannot share any of my impressions until the embargo lifts on January 23rd. So please look forward to that video on the 23rd. I have a lot of thoughts on how it plays and looks, and it'll be my first preview impressions video ever, I believe. So if you're not subscribed, now might be a great time to try. I appreciate it. So that's the main thing. I may also do a live stream this week, but it really depends on the weather, strangely enough. Regardless, major shout out to the valued members of the channel. I know I don't upload or stream regularly at the moment, so I appreciate your support. 2025 is going to be an exciting year, I can tell. So without further ado, let's get to the first topic of the show. No Man's Sky's first update of 2025. We're only a couple of weeks into the new year, but Hello Games have already published 2 experimental patches to No Man's Sky on Steam. These patches, as well as loose ends from 2024, give us some limited insight into what Hello Games might be planning next. Patch notes were included for both experimental patches, and they paint an interesting picture. The January 3rd patch notes include updated the file loading system, updated mod loading to allow for mods to be more forward compatible in the future. Note that mods are not created or officially supported by Hello Games and are used at your own risk. And then there are about 4 other bullet points relating to those. So the rest of the patch notes are more technical, but also relate to modding interactions and compatibility. It's interesting. As the notes state, Hello Games doesn't officially support mods, yet they seem to be going through plenty of effort to ensure they function. The January 7th patch notes are a continuation of this theme. They include better handling for large groups of loaded mods, and a fixed handling of mods with underscore in the folder name, plus a few other points. Now, I could speculate about what all of this means, but luckily Martin Griffiths, engine programmer at Hello Games, shared a detailed explanation on X. A link to the full patch notes and his explanation in the description below. He begins by writing, quote, "For people asking about the current Steam experimental branch, the main purpose of this is to get some test coverage on PC, which is now moving to use our main Hello Games file system, HGFS, for loading in future updates." End quote. So, that's pretty straightforward. Long story short, when Hello Games first shipped the game in 2016, Martin says they used Sony's PSARC file system for compression. Now, I won't pretend to understand the ins and outs of this tech, but as Hello Games added support for more consoles, they eventually developed their own file system, HGFS. It held some advantages over PSARC due to its proprietary nature, one notable example being that the game doesn't stutter when leaving a planet's atmosphere on consoles, while it does on PC. Moving the PC version to HGFS should finally fix that. However, while they had made the switch to HGFS for the console versions years ago, they're only moving the PC version to HGFS this year. Martin explains, quote, "The primary disadvantage of moving to the new file system was the dev effort needed to continue to support modding, even though, as the experimental notes mention, this is not an officially supported thing. There is a large community of modders, and allowing a migration path for mods needed a decent amount of programmer time. This is ongoing, and we hope you can see from the notes that significant effort has gone into this change and the long-term benefits outlined here that it can bring to No Man's Sky." End quote. So, Hello Games are testing the implementation of HDFS on PC before utilizing it in a full public release. They're also being careful to ensure that modders will have an avenue to continue their work going forward. It's an interesting insight into their process. I imagine having all of their game versions running the same compression system will help with testing, quality assurance, stability, and possibly the new cross-save feature. Speaking of which, that's another technical feature that we know they're working on. For those who don't remember, we first got a tease that Hello Games were revamping save files back in summer 2024. In November 2024, we saw the rollout of the cross-save beta. Lucky few players were able to enable a beta version of Hello Games cross-save tech for No Man's Sky. This allowed them to access their save files across multiple platforms. You could choose to upload your save data on PS5 and then continue from that same save file on PC or any other platform. Now, I wasn't one of those lucky folks who made it into the beta, but I'm definitely looking forward to the full release of that feature, presumably in 2025. So, besides better file compression on PC and full cross-save support, what else might we look forward to in 2025? Well, that's difficult to say. Hello Games typically release the first titled content of each year around February or March. The last Redux expedition for this year, The Cursed, is set to run from January 22nd through February 5th. February 5th being a Wednesday, it would be easy to point to it as a possible release date for the next update. However, that's entirely speculative, and I would personally expect something later than that. As for the content of that update, I do have a couple of guesses. My first thought would be a follow-up to The Cursed. I won't give you any spoilers for The Cursed, don't worry, but let's just say that the Abyss seems closer than ever. Beginning with the Interceptor update, we've seen multiple updates focused on continuing the main storyline of the game and expanding the lore around the Abyss and the fall of Korvax Prime. Now, I would love it if the next update or expedition continued this trend. I could even see them bringing some of the mechanics introduced in the Cursed Expedition to the main game, similar to how they brought the storyline and gameplay of the Singularity Expedition into the main game during the Echoes update. At the same time, I could see it being a completely unrelated quality of life update. 2024 began with the Omega update, which brought an overhaul to expeditions and other feature improvements. 2023 began with the Fractal update, another update focused more on quality of life than new content, so to speak. Considering the technical improvements that we know are in the works, an update focused on building a solid technical foundation for future content seems like a reasonable idea to me. Lastly, we also have the specter of Worlds Part 2 floating around. The original Worlds Part 1 in-game patch notes hinted that the second part would follow soon, but that was soon revised. As of right now, we have no idea when to expect Worlds Part 2. However, my money would be on it being the big 2025 summer update, rather than the opening act. I'm hoping that update will bring new underwater content and gameplay, but it could literally be anything at this point. We just don't know. So let me know in the comments below what you're thinking. Do you think we're going to get a full update in February? Or maybe just an expedition? When do you expect the full release of Cross-Save to launch? What are you hoping for in 2025? Sean wrote, quote, "The small No Man's Sky team are working very hard on some really exciting things for 2025, and we can't wait to share them with you very soon," unquote. Regardless of what it is they're working on, it's always exciting to look forward to more from that team. So, speaking of people working on things though, I can't help but mention I'm also working on a personal project. You know me, I can't help myself, I can't sit still. And yes, this side project is No Man's Sky related. No, it's not the Traveler's Deck 2.0. And no, it's not the the Monolith Blue ad, which, you know, maybe they'll add it to the game someday. No, I'm not telling you what it is. I did tease it in a couple of videos for like a single frame, believe it or not. But all I can say right now is that I did complete a prototype back in August or sometime around that. and I originally meant to reveal it in December. However, I've gone back to the drawing board on some of the art, so I wouldn't expect anything until this summer, if I'm being honest. So look forward to something new this summer, after my semester ends and I get work on my book wrapped up, of course. Speaking of which, the book is coming along great. I can't wait to reveal more, but here's an illustration for it. Ooh, right? Here's another one. I've got plenty actually, but I can't show you all of them. It's gonna be awesome though, so can't wait to show you the full book when it releases. Besides work, writing, and exclusive preview events, I've also found myself addicted to Pokemon cards again. Oh boy, this time though they're digital, luckily. So, in case you've been living under a rock, I'm talking about Pokemon TCG Pocket, the mobile version of the classic trading card game that's had a hold on me since New Year's. Don't worry, I'm not about to become a Pokemon card channel, as lucrative as that seems, but don't be surprised if I publish a short or two on the game, because you know me, I love to talk about whatever I'm playing or passionate about at the moment. I also got some 151 packs of the physical cards for my birthday, below MSRP, thank goodness. Okay, I didn't pay scalper prices. So I'm just about as clearly in denial of my early 30s as possible. Sheesh. But in more channel-related news, I do plan to make good on that poll during the Kanaju Awards. I will make an expedition tier list soon enough. I'm also trying to get back into my regular No Man's Sky content, and probably a couple of Assassin's Creed videos over the course of the year. I mean, remember, my impressions of AC Shadows are going live on January 23rd, so if you could give that video a chance, even if you only watch this channel for No Man's Sky, I would really appreciate it. I'd be mighty grateful. In fact, I'm already grateful if you've made it this far into the podcast. Thanks for your support, and feel free to like the video if you liked it. And let me know in the comments below what types of videos you'd like to see from me in 2025. And don't say pack opening videos, because then I'll have the justification I need to spend actual money on Pokemon cards, and nobody wants that, especially not my wife. So otherwise, I think that's it for the Deep Space Travel Break episode 34. A huge shout out again to the valued members of the channel. It's just $1 a month to get access to some limited perks if you'd like to join, but you can also subscribe completely free of charge, and I'd be happy with that. So I appreciate all of y'all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.